Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Our guest today, Ena Quitain. Ena, please, first of all, tell us where you're calling in from and what you do for a living with D&D Skin Science.
Hi, Matt. Thank you so much for inviting me. I am Ena Quitain from DMD Skin Sciences. I'm joining from the Philippines. I am the Chief Operations Officer of this omni-channel dermatology clinic treating acne, acne scars, and hyperpigmentation.
It's amazing. I love that. And can you tell me a little bit more about your background and how you got involved with this company? Have you kind of been there since the beginning with them, or did you come in somewhere along the way? And what got you interested in wanting to work in this kind of skin care space more generally, I suppose?
Oh, well, getting here, it was like a whole process. I graduated with a background in communication arts. So initially, I really wanted a career in advertising, but that didn't work out for me. So I went in with an e-commerce company for my first job. It was a startup, so I wore multiple hats. I learned a lot of things. I did graphic design, and then I did marketing. I did sales. I did a little bit of business development, expanding their offline stores. And I also did a bit of operations. So I was with them for 6 years, but we had a great relationship. The owners and I had a really great relationship. But I was at the point wherein I feel like I need to grow further. That's why I resigned and tried to look for different opportunities. So when I resigned almost 5 years ago, I was really interested in innovation. I feel like innovation in startups. So I looked for roles that where I can apply innovation, where I can apply design thinking, where I can, just create something. So I applied to different sales roles, BD roles, marketing roles from different industries, fintech, beauty, e-commerce, and all those stuff until I came to this listing, which is by a doctor. It's Dr. Mike D. So he's my superior right now. I work with him and for him. During that time when I came in, there was we were renting a clinic here in the Philippines. So he was treating patients with underarm concerns mostly. And I felt like what made me decide to go with him was I felt like the healthcare in general needed some innovation. It's very ripe for innovation. I feel like it's not patient centric enough. As a patient, I felt that. So I feel like there's a lot that I can do in healthcare. In dermatology. So yeah, that's how I ended up in this role. And I guess what also made me decide was Dr. Mike and I really jived the first time we met. So I think it's very important that, you and your co-founder or your workmates in general have the same values so that you can build together towards the vision that you have.
No, I think you're right. It is so important. And it's something I actually hear from a lot of people that come on the podcast whenever I ask about, what do you look for when you look for potential business partners or employees? And then always the relationship is at the forefront of that conversation, not necessarily the qualifications, although that's obviously important. I mean, you don't want to have somebody come in with absolutely no experience of what you're trying to have them do.
Right.
But I think that relationship and willingness to be coached and willingness to learn and just grow and go through the hard times together is the most important thing. So I think it's definitely true. And I appreciate you sharing that perspective. And so I guess I'm curious, since you joined as COO, what have you kind of tried to do a little bit differently in the healthcare space? I agree there. I think there is a lot of space for innovation. I think the reason a lot of folks kind of stay away from healthcare, people that are very innovation forward in their own thinking, is just because, regulatory issues with healthcare can be so, there's could be so much red tape in those things. So what are you trying to do a little bit differently with this brand to bring a little bit more, personability to the healthcare space, specifically with dermatology here?
Yeah, I agree with that. There's not much you can do, especially if you're part of an insurance system. So for us in the Philippines, what really prompted us to pivot was really the pandemic. So during that time, we were constructing this clinic from where I'm recording right now. But then we were about to open April of 2020. And then, of course, the pandemic happened. And having a superior, a doctor, he knew that this won't be resolved in 6 months, in 3 months. So we had to find another way to be able to reach to our patients. And that's through the help of technology. We use technology to be able to reach out to our patients. And then, as much as I didn't want to be involved in e-commerce anymore, we had to incorporate e-commerce to be able to reach out to our patients, and deliver them their medications. I guess what's different from what we're doing as opposed to like the status quo, it's really focusing on what the patient needs. For us, I think one of our wins is being able to reach out to different patients in the country. If you'll see, the Philippines is a very big archipelago. It's also, and there are like a lot of patients who are living in different parts of the country that don't have access to a dermatologist and a big pharmacy. So that's one of the gaps that we're trying to resolve. Number two, acne patients here in the Philippines, they're tired of trying out different treatment protocols, and having to like purchase different skincare products, medications, laser treatment packages only for their acne treatments, for their acne to not be resolved. So we came up with a protocol that helps us help our patients treat their acne from the comforts of their own home, wherever they are in the Philippines. And also, it's I think what we're doing differently is a focus on patient care, because right now, like traditionally, the onus is on the patient to do a follow-up. So like if I'm a doctor, well, nothing wrong with that. But for us, like realized how our patients needed us to handhold them into their journey, especially since we're talking about confidence here, helping them restore their confidence. So yeah, I think it's really having a team of nurses and who are very coachable, who are very willing to learn, and who also share the same values to be able to help all these patients that we have right now.
Yeah, it's really fascinating because from my, I started my career in sales years ago as well, and but I had so many experiences where people would kind of, they knew they needed help, they reached out to you for like, the service that you were providing, but and maybe it was a priority for them on that day. Likewise, somebody maybe coming to, maybe like look for a dermatologist to treat their acne might be a priority for them the day they originally reach out and do the consultation. But going forward, they just might, people are very, very busy, and even if somebody is dying for something, they know they need it, and that you can help, that you do need to do that affirmative outreach to make sure that like you are kind of like guiding through that process. So I think that's a really like interesting and unique perspective to like customer relationships in healthcare, because I've certainly never been reached out to by a doctor for a follow up. If I don't do it, I just never hear from them again, and I probably don't go. So I think that's a really interesting perspective. And then I guess, so are you still exclusively serving in the Philippines, or are you looking to expand these like services and kind of what you're doing in this little bit like the kind of different telehealth way in different countries as well going forward? Or
Well, we definitely have our limitations
Mhm.
because our doctor license is only in the Philippines.
Fair
So
enough.
we
Yeah.
do get inquiries from different patients in US, from the Middle East, different parts of the world. But then again, we can't really do much about it, except recommend them seeing a local dermatologist to be able to help them. But definitely they could purchase our products, which they can purchase online on our website. So yeah, so we also have over-the-counter products that can be checked out from our brand.com and from marketplaces here in the Philippines, similar to Amazon.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. What are you kind of utilizing, I suppose, like on that side of things with your on the over the counter direct to consumer products? What are you kind of utilizing on that side of things to kind of drive traffic and like make sure people know that these solutions are out there, even if they're not in the Philippines, or maybe they don't have the the money or the time to do like a real like consultation and go through that whole process? What are you kind of utilizing on the digital side to make sure that the people are aware and your online presence is seen when people are looking for things like this?
Honestly, Matt, a lot of it is organic.
Hmm.
So we do organically through the help of social media. I think what contributed to that was, number one, we had an expert on our team who really saw the gaps. Like why are conventional acne treatments not working, and like what would work for Filipinos in general who are living in a country that's very humid. And also, number two, it's really the focus on quality products, quality service. Because of that, we were able to get a lot of reviews for our products. And then number two, people just naturally referred their friends and family members or somebody online to us. And then it's also amplified by social media, particularly on TikTok. So that's how we really got our customers for the last almost 4 or 5 years from now. And I guess it's nice how the power of like digital word of mouth helped us grow and help us reach out to more patients. We've been just doing paid. We've been trying to do paid just this year. So a little bit of SEM. We're also doing SEO right now. A little bit of paid ads on Meta and also on TikTok for awareness. But most of it, it's organic.
That's awesome. And I think also during the pandemic, when you kind of started with these like innovations that you did for, the healthcare space and dermatology specifically, I think so many of these online communities propped up and people were, I think, definitely more willing to buy things through social media platforms. Whereas before, I feel like it was just more of like, connection and entertainment and things like that. So are you utilizing like TikTok Shop too? Do you have your products on there? Yeah, TikTok Shop has been like a really it seems to be hit or miss, but when it hits, I mean, it hits pretty big usually. So what's your experience been like on TikTok Shop? Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely good. So,
That's awesome.
TikTok Shop was, I think, released here, if I'm not mistaken, 2022.
Hmm.
Southeast Asia was the first one. Was one of the first markets they released TikTok Shop, and it's been doing really well. I think we've sold about 90,000 products lifetime on TikTok Shop alone. So it's
Congrats.
been
Yeah, it's amazing.
yeah, it's been very helpful for us in growing our brand. And then also it also helps us, get reviews from our patients and comments from our patients. So those comments, those reviews also help us to like refine our products and services better.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And I know there's one question I always love to ask everybody that comes on the podcast. So I know you've been with this company that's as a COO for about 5 years now. And I guess during that time, if you go back to when you got started with Mike and the rest of the company, if you could go back and give yourself any one piece of advice if you were to start working there again in your current role, what do you think that piece of advice would be?
Wow, that's it's really just do things. Because like sometimes we tend to overthink things and like before doing it, like plan our next steps like before you do it. But then again, like when that happens, when you overthink, you become paralyzed. I think the right way to go, at least for me, what worked for me was like just do it and then refine things as you go along, improve, and then do mini pivots until you get to the best quality of service or product that you have and you can offer your customers.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice because I think a lot of people who are either interested in working for startups and entrepreneurs or are entrepreneurs themselves kind of have this air of like perfectionism to them where like they want to
Right,
try to figure out everything they can up front to
right.
try to avoid the problems going forward. But I think at the end of the day, it's something I hear a lot when I ask that question as well. So I think you're dead on with that for sure, which is, just do it. It's like one of those old like marketing adages was like, especially with people that are like very young, like CPG brands say like, if you're not embarrassed by the first product you bring to market, you brought it to market too
Exactly.
late, right? No, I love that, and I think it's simple advice, but I think extremely effective for a lot of the like entrepreneurial minded people. I think can get very paralyzed and just try to wait it out until something is perfect. They know it's going to work, and then when it doesn't work, that hurts even more. And then you also wasted a bunch of time because you didn't do it. So I think the only way you can really improve on a process is making mistakes and doing it poorly probably in the beginning. And no matter what you do, you're probably going to do it poorly anyway in the beginning, where no matter how much
Yeah,
you plan. So no, I
yeah.
think that's really good advice for anybody listening. I think it's I appreciate you sharing that. And I also just want to give you an opportunity to, for anybody listening might be interested in maybe, potentially, partnering with you in a business sense, or maybe just checking out the products on TikTok Shop or on your website. What's the best way to stay in touch with you all?
So yeah, you can visit us on dmdskinsciences.com. That's Delta Mama Delta skinsciences.com. DMD Skin Sciences.
Awesome. Love that. Well, and I just want to say thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate your insights and everything you bring to the table. I love what you're doing. And I just want to wish you the best of luck and continued success. And I really look forward to staying in touch as well. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Matt, for inviting me again.
Absolutely. It's really great to meet you. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Anna.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.